I'm standing outside a downtown club at 2 a.m., staring at a photo on my phone that makes no sense. My girlfriend Lena is inside, supposedly at her sister's place. The woman next to her in this picture? I don't recognize her, but the man with his arm around Lena's waist? That's definitely someone I know. And that changes everything. If you've ever had that sinking feeling that something's off, you know what I'm about to go through. Stick with me here, and if this story resonates, hit that like button. You'll want to see how this plays out. Let me back up. My name came up earlier tonight when a guy I barely know, Silas, tagged me in a photo with the caption, "Spotted downtown." I was half asleep when the notification came through, didn't think much of it. Silas and I went to the same college but never really clicked. We're connected on social media in that vague way where you recognize each other's faces but wouldn't call each other friends. I almost ignored it. Wish I had. Lena and I have been together for 3 years. We're in that phase where everything feels stable. Maybe too stable. We've talked about moving in together, but we keep putting it off for practical reasons. Her lease, my commute, the usual stuff. Tonight, she told me she was spending the evening at her sister Marin's place across town. Something about helping rearrange furniture or paint a room. I can't remember exactly. I was distracted, said sure, told her to have fun. We texted a bit around 7, then nothing. Normal. But this photo? It's time-stamped 1:47 a.m. Lena's at some place called Oasis Lounge, a club I've heard of but never been to. She's laughing, head tilted back, wearing that deep green dress she bought 2 months ago and said she was saving for something special. I thought maybe she meant saving it for us. A nice dinner, a date night we kept talking about but never planned. Guess not. I zoom in. The man standing next to her has his hand resting just above her hip. Casual but familiar. It takes me a second, but I recognize him. Dimitri. She mentioned him once, maybe twice. A colleague from her marketing firm. She made him sound boring, forgettable. In the photo, he doesn't look forgettable. He looks comfortable. Too comfortable. I try calling her, straight to voicemail. I text, "Hey, you still at Marin's? Call me when you get this." I keep my tone light, like I'm just checking in, but my hands are shaking a little as I type. I wait. 5 minutes, 10, nothing. I open her location sharing, something we turned on months ago, not because we didn't trust each other, but because it felt practical. Except tonight, between 11 p.m. and now, it's off. Disabled. That's new. I sit on the edge of my bed, phone still in my hand, staring at that photo. There's probably an explanation. There has to be. Maybe Marin cancelled. Maybe Lena ran into work people and didn't want to bother me. Maybe I'm overthinking this. But that hollowness in my chest, it doesn't feel like overthinking. It feels like the moment before everything you thought was solid starts to crack. I don't sleep. I spend the next few hours lying in bed, phone on my chest, refreshing her messages. Nothing. I zoom into that photo again, looking for details I might have missed. The lighting, the drinks on the table, the way Dimitri's leaning toward her. I feel pathetic doing this, but I can't stop. Around 9 in the morning, my phone buzzes. Lena. "Morning, babe. Just woke up. Marin's place is chaos, LOL. Talk later." I stare at the message for a full minute before replying. "No worries. Glad you survived the project." I add a smiley face. It feels like lying. She sends back a heart emoji. That's it. No explanation for not answering last night. No mention of being out. Just normal Lena. And that's what messes with me the most. If she were acting weird, I'd know something was wrong. But she's not. She's exactly the same, which means either I'm paranoid or she's really good at this. Over the next 2 days, I try to act normal too. We text throughout the day like we always do. She tells me about a client meeting that went badly. I tell her about a deadline I'm stressing over. On the surface, everything's fine, but I'm watching now. Really watching. Thursday evening, she comes over. She seems tired, distracted. I ask how the thing at Marin's went, and she says, "Oh, it was fine. Exhausting, though. We didn't finish." I nod, but I'm studying her hands. No paint under her nails. No stiffness in her shoulders from moving furniture. She smells like coconut, her usual body wash. But underneath, there's something else. A perfume I don't recognize. Floral, expensive. Not hers. I don't say anything. I just feel this quiet fracture forming inside me, widening with every small detail that doesn't add up. Friday afternoon, I do something I've never done before. I check our shared credit card statement. We opened it last year for joint expenses. Dinners out, weekend trips, that kind of thing. We don't use it often. I scroll through the charges from the past 2 weeks, and there it is. Oasis Lounge. The night she said she was at Marin's. $73. 2 cocktails, maybe 3. My chest tightens. Maybe she stopped by for a drink before heading to Marin's. Maybe it's nothing. But then I see another charge, same night, an hour later, the Benjamin Hotel Bar. $120. I sit there staring at my laptop screen, trying to make this make sense. The Benjamin is downtown. Maren lives on the east side. Why would Lena be downtown if she was supposed to be helping her sister? I don't want to be that person who checks up on their girlfriend. I don't want to be suspicious or controlling, but I also don't want to be an idiot. So I open my messages and text Maren directly. Casual, friendly. Hey, did Lena leave her scarf at your place last week? She's been looking for it. Maren replies within minutes. Last week? She hasn't been here in over a month. Everything okay? I read it 3 times. Then I set my phone down and just sit there, staring at nothing. That hollowness from 2 nights ago? It's not hollow anymore. It's heavy, and it's real. I don't reply to Maren. I don't know what to say. I close my laptop and just sit in the silence of my apartment, feeling like the walls are closing in. Part of me wants to call Lena right now, demand answers, but another part, the part that's terrified of what those answers might be, wants to pretend I never saw any of this. I spend the weekend in this weird limbo. Lena texts me Saturday morning asking if I want to grab brunch. I make up an excuse about work. She doesn't push. Sunday, she sends a photo of herself at a farmer's market with the caption, "Wish you were here." I send back a heart. We're both playing our roles perfectly, and it makes me sick. Monday evening, she mentions she has another work event coming up Friday. Probably boring, she says over the phone. Just drinks with the team. I suggest we could meet up after, grab a late dinner. There's a pause. Just a second too long. Maybe, she says. I might be too tired. Let's see how I feel. That pause tells me everything. Tuesday, I'm having coffee with Silas. I reached out to him yesterday, kept it casual, asked about that club, said I'd been meaning to check it out. He's friendly enough, doesn't seem to notice anything off. Then, almost as an afterthought, he says, "Yeah, I saw your girl there with some finance bro a couple weeks back. They seem pretty close. Didn't know if you knew." I keep my face neutral. "Oh yeah, probably just co-workers." He shrugs. "Maybe. Just figured I'd mention it." I thank him and leave before he can see my hands shaking. By Friday, I've made a decision. I'm not going to follow her. I'm not going to show up at the club or try to catch her in the act. I just need her to tell me the truth. So when she texts me that evening, "Heading out soon, talk later," I respond with something I've been holding on to all week. "Hey, ran into Silas the other day. Small world." She doesn't reply for 20 minutes. When she does, it's just, "Oh, cool." That night, I wait. She gets home around midnight. Later than usual. I'm sitting on the couch when she walks in, and she startles a little when she sees me. "Hey," she says, dropping her bag by the door. "Didn't think you'd still be up." I don't stand. I just look at her. "I texted Maren last week," I say quietly. "Asked if you left your scarf at her place." Lena goes very still. Her face doesn't change, but something shifts in her eyes. "Oh?" She said you haven't been there in over a month. Silence. Long, suffocating silence. I pull up the credit card statement on my phone and hold it out to her. "Oasis Lounge, the Benjamin Hotel Bar. Same night you said you were helping your sister." She looks at the screen, then at me. Her face is pale now. She opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. "Callum, it's not—" "Don't," I interrupt, and my voice sounds hollow even to me. "Just don't." She tries anyway. Starts with, "We were just talking," then shifts to, "I didn't plan for this to happen." Her words come out fragmented, defensive. She tells me about Dimitri, how they started working on a project together 2 months ago, how it was just coffee at first, then drinks after work, how she was confused about us, about where we were going. She didn't know how to bring it up. I ask her the only question that matters. "How long?" She hesitates. 6 weeks, maybe 7. "And you were going to tell me when?" Another pause. This one's worse. "I was trying to figure things out first." That's when I understand. She wasn't confused. She was deciding, choosing between staying with me or taking a chance with him, and she wanted to keep both options open until she was sure. I was the backup plan. I tell her to leave. She cries, says we should talk more, but I can't. I physically can't sit here and listen to her rewrite our entire relationship into something that justified this. She packs an overnight bag, and I notice it's already half full, like some part of her has been ready for this conversation. The door closes. I sit in the quiet apartment and feel nothing, then everything. The next few days blur together. I take time off work, tell my boss I'm dealing with a family thing. I don't answer calls from mutual friends. Lena texts sporadically. Apologies that turn into justifications that turn into anger when I don't respond. "You're being unfair," one message says. "I made a mistake, but you're not even trying to understand." I delete the thread without replying. A week later, a friend mentions seeing Lena's relationship status change on social media. She's with Dimitri now, publicly, officially, less than 2 weeks after she walked out of my apartment. That hurts more than I expected. Not because I want her back, I don't, but because it confirms how replaceable I was in her story, how easily she moved from one life to the next. I start putting myself back together slowly, rearrange the apartment, move the couch she always hated to a different wall, reconnect with friends I'd let drift, start running again in the mornings, something I used to do before we got comfortable and lazy together. One afternoon, I'm boxing up the last of her things, books, a phone charger, some clothes, and I notice our shared cloud storage is still linked on my laptop. She forgot to remove my access. I shouldn't look. I know I shouldn't, but I do. There's a folder I've never seen before. Messages, screenshots of conversations between her and Dimitri. I scroll through, stomach sinking. They date back 4 months, not 6 weeks. 4 months of complaints about me being too predictable, about how she felt stuck, about planning how to make the transition easier. I close the laptop, sit there staring at the wall. She'd been rewriting us long before she ever walked into that club. 3 months pass. I won't say I'm healed, but I'm healing. There's a difference. I still have moments where I see something that reminds me of her, a song, a restaurant, the green dress in a shop window, and I feel that old ache. But it's quieter now. Duller. I'm learning to live around it. I've been focusing on work, spending more time with people who actually show up. I started running longer distances, signed up for a half marathon I'll probably regret. Small things, normal things, things that feel like mine again. One Saturday afternoon, I'm at a coffee shop near my place, the kind with mismatched furniture and terrible Wi-Fi. I'm working on my laptop when someone says my name. I look up. It's Ingrid, a colleague from a few years back. We worked on a project together, stayed friendly but lost touch when she moved to a different company. Callum, I thought that was you. She's smiling, holding an iced latte. Mind if I sit? We catch up. The usual stuff, work, life, the city. She mentions she recently started at a marketing firm downtown. I nod, half listening until she says the name. Lena's firm. Oh, I say, keeping my voice neutral. Small world. Right? It's been interesting so far. Lots of office politics, though. She rolls her eyes. There's this whole situation with one of the senior guys, Dimitri. Apparently he got transferred to a different department last month because of complaints. I set my coffee down carefully. Complaints? Yeah, turns out he has a bit of a pattern. Dating people at work, things getting messy, then moving on. HR finally stepped in. She lowers her voice, leaning in slightly. And this woman, Lena, she's kind of caught in the fallout. People know she left someone to be with him, and now with all the Dimitri drama, it's gotten awkward for her. Office gossip can be brutal. I don't say anything. Ingrid doesn't know. She has no idea she's talking about my ex. She continues. I actually feel a little bad for her. She seems really stressed. But also, I don't know. You make your choices, right? She shrugs. Anyway, enough about work drama. How have you been? We talk for another 20 minutes, but I'm barely there. When Ingrid leaves, I sit with my cold coffee and process what she just told me. Lena's struggling. Her relationship with Dimitri is probably crumbling under the weight of his reputation. The life she chose is falling apart in small, uncomfortable ways. I wait for the satisfaction to come, the vindication, the sense that karma finally caught up with her, but it doesn't come. I just feel tired, and maybe a little sad. Not for her exactly, more for the whole situation, for the fact that people hurt each other and then have to live with it. I finish my coffee, close my laptop, and head out. I walk past Oasis Lounge on my way home, the same club from that photo 3 months ago. I pause for just a moment, looking at the entrance, then I keep walking.